Exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marssa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marssa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marssa Pei.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marssa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station, home to the Asian Oprah, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, JioSaavn, Rumble, and more. Why so many places? Because I want my maximum splatter zone for more hope and happiness, which the show is about. So there's topics and guests. To that end, no gossip, no scandal, no K-words, no Kardashian talk at all, no Kanye talk. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So we here talk about solution to many different things. And I'm so delighted to introduce you to today's guest. Her name is Yarona Boster, and she knows loss well from a very personal level to the professional arena, and she's developed wisdom beyond her years as a result. With 15 years in the world of early childhood, Yarona became an accomplished TEDx speaker, certified speaker coach, certified life coach, parenting coach, loss, trauma, informed coach, infertility advocate, mentor, and coach. Yarona takes a heart-centered approach in her coaching style, and if you're willing to trust the process and stay open to finding the best version of you that you want to be, Yarona will help you get that done. So without further ado, please welcome to my studio, Yarona. So delighted to have you.
So delighted to be here. Thank you.
And so we're going to start with this. And I see the eyeballs rolling in. Thank you so much for joining. If you go to my YouTube channel, as long as you're not driving, you can actually comment and ask questions today. We're talking about infertility, dealing with loss, and parenting. So you can go crazy and ask her, and she's going to give you the best answer possible, because today happens to be a special day. She's here on her birthday. So happy birthday, dear Yarona. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Hold on one more. Can you tell I'm a retired lounge lizard?
You have such a gorgeous voice. Such a gorgeous voice. That's probably the best happy birthday I've ever gotten. So.
Oh, yay. Well, that was the intention. So I'm glad that we're starting off with the best outcome already. And before we launch into topics, and I'm going to give people that chance, if you're formulating questions, please do put them in the chat and we can address them after we get some tips and some common, I like to talk about, what's going on that's not great or not useful so that we can find some solution. But before we do that, I don't know if you've noticed in this last probably 6 months, I started a practice in the morning to have breakfast with me and my guest and taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So we're going to do 8 specific things that you're grateful for. Just, you can't say friends and family because that's too general, but that's pretty much the only rule. That's the top of the bun. And Dr. Wayne Dyer, beloved teacher who's on the other side, would say 5. Start your day with 5 and you're going to have an amazing day. I'm a little bit of an overachiever. I stretched it to 8. 8's a lucky number in Chinese. It's a homophone for good fortune. So we're going to start with that. And then 8 appreciations for who you are. And I think a lot of the dis-ease with life is happening because people don't know how to affirm themselves. They're always looking for love in the wrong places with their antenna out. Who loves me? Who likes me? Literally now with social media. So it's part of my job in life to exercise your muscle first thing in the morning so that you can go to bed tonight thinking about not what you didn't get done, not who said who done who wrong, but who am I and what do I like about myself. So there's the gratitude sandwich. I'm going to start. I am grateful for having Yarona here on her birthday. It's a special day for her, and I'm delighted that she's starting it. Well, actually, you're already into your East Coast. You're already into your day, but we're starting on the West Coast with your birthday. I'm grateful for that. What are you grateful for, Yarona?
I'm grateful for the occasions that I get to indulge in a little self-focus and self-care. Um, that's one big thing. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm grateful that I have a pool in my building that I can get up and don't think about it before my mind says, nah, you can use a little extra sleep. I go straight down to the pool. You know, my bathing suit says, get in the pool. My sweatpants says, you can stay in bed. And I listened to my bathing suit this morning.
Okay, I listened to my sweatpants this morning, so
Oh.
it's my birthday.
It's your birthday. It's your birthday. That's good. That's the
Usually
self-care.
I'm up and at 'em, but yeah.
Yeah, it's your birthday. I am grateful for losing 30 pounds since I started my Love My Body project February the 14th this year. So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And
I am grateful that I get to stand up on my own 2 feet
I'm
every
grateful
morning.
that beautiful. I'm grateful that the planets did not crash into each other last night so that I can enjoy this amazing, beautiful day with so much to do, hug, hold, respect, think, innovate, create. So I'm grateful
Yeah,
for that. And
me
last
too.
one for you.
I am grateful for the quiet moments
Mm.
when you can really just take in a deep breath and feel it in your body and
Mm.
have that quiet moment to just be.
Mm.
Yeah.
Amen. I appreciate that I know how to take that breath
Yeah.
many times a day to connect with who I am and whose I am.
I love that. Um, I am so grateful that my sight is not getting as bad as I thought it was going to be.
That's a good one. Isn't it strange how that happens? I had LASIK twice when I
Yeah.
was first happened and corrected from a -9 to a -1 twice. And then I thought that was it. And I'm ageless, so I'm not going to say how long, but enjoyed great sight. And now they're going, I get it. Did you see? I started with glasses to read your bio. Okay. I appreciate, we're at the bottom of the bun now, in case you didn't notice, we're appreciating things about ourselves. I appreciate that I can still see, even though I need glasses again.
I appreciate that I can still sing. I used to sing a lot, and every once in a while, I decide to belt it out, and I'm like, "Oh, I still have it. Yay!"
Good. You can sing yourself happy birthday. Beautiful. We have that in common. I appreciate that I can multitask.
I like that one. I appreciate that I have a very unique name that takes people a little bit to get to know, but usually once you know it, you got it.
Yeah, and
Yep,
won't forget that one.
yep.
Does it have a special meaning? What
It
does your
does.
what does Yarona mean?
It means she shall sing. I'm pretty sure my parents had a little
No
divine intervention going on
way.
there when they named me, yeah.
That's my new middle name.
Oh, we won't even go to my middle name. That's a totally
What
different
is
thing.
it?
It's Yisraella, and it means Israel shall sing.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So I'm
Yeah,
guessing you are Jewish
I
by
am.
yes.
Yeah.
My mom was unofficially adopted by a Russian Jewish woman. So I have an Uncle Moishi and an Aunt
Oh.
Ethel, Aunt Penny, and I know how to hide the matzah. So we have another thing in common. I'm not a balabusta. So there you go. I didn't
Love
tell
that.
you that, right?
No.
Okay. And the last appreciation is that I am multilingual and I'm grateful that I can, I have a little Yiddish and Chinese, French, German, and English.
Wow, that's incredible. Um, I'm grateful that I
I appreciate.
I appreciate that I'm self-aware and I'm becoming more self-aware every day. And the more self-aware I become, the more I realize of the things I don't know. And my hope is that when I get to 80, I'll know a lot less than I thought I did at this age.
Beautiful. Well said. And that is it for breakfast with Dr. Marissa and Yarona Boster. Thank you for having breakfast with us. Is it Boster or Boster? I don't want to say it.
Well, my husband would say it's Boster.
Uh-huh.
My mother-in-law would say it's Boster, and I have no idea. So I'll
Okay.
just go with Boster.
We'll see.
Like,
You just
I think it's Boster.
I think your Rona is just fine.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get started. I'm sure we could fill up a day with all that you know, or more than a day, but we have, let's see, we have 40 minutes
Mhm.
to share with all of y'all out there. And if you have specific questions, again, you're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And we have an expert today on parenting, dealing with loss and infertility. So I'm going to take a stab and from what I hear out there and put the moose on the table, which is my Canadian version of talking about the elephant in the room. Infertility is a hot topic because there's never been more treatments, IVF, there's never been more people who have uh, um, challenges
Yeah.
getting pregnant. I don't know if that's actually true, but I hear about it way more than I used to. And I know the generation before me
Yeah.
will say that that was never, you want to have children, you just stop using protection and you're going to pop one out. And it just seems, and I have it in my family members who, they really, really wanted to have children and cannot believe how difficult it has become. So, why is that? Is one of my questions. Why is it? Is it truly more prevalent, and why is that? The dealing with loss, I would like to know from you, especially during the holidays. I introduced the topic yesterday, holiday blues. People have a tough time with loss. Why is that when we all know that we're all going to die? So why does loss seem like one of those, such a challenging topic, especially during the holidays? And then finally, parenting. What's the number one? Well, parenting for me, we went from the generation before where it was, don't cry, I'll give you something to cry about. And you better do this to this extreme where you don't want to treat your kids the way you treated them. And so there's no discipline at all. And so kids are going wild and crazy. And I see it most on airplanes. And
Yeah.
I'm very not happy when I get seated. I don't mind children crying if it's, because their ears hurt, but there's a certain whine that comes from children who are doing it to get their way and their parents just do it. So there's my 3 wish lists for the show. That should keep
Okay.
you busy for a while until
Yeah.
we get some questions, but you tackle whichever one you'd like to start.
Definitely. Okay, so let's start with the number one that you put out there about infertility. So infertility affects 1 out of 8. 1 out of 8 couples, 1 out of 8 people in this country, in the US. That's a pretty high statistic.
That's super high.
It's also been categorized as a disease by the CDC. A lot of
Wow.
people don't know that. So I do a lot of advocacy work with Resolve, the National Infertility Association, and we run support groups. We also do National Annual Advocacy Day. And that's where we actually go and we talk to our federal legislators about different bills and legislation around infertility. For a very long time, the VA didn't cover infertility for our veterans, even ones who their reproductive organs were affected during active duty. So
Oh.
it's taken a very long time for us to get to that place where we're acknowledging the fact that people have a right to be able to build their family the way that they want to, and how they want to. There's a lot of restrictions. It's incredibly disheartening when we get to that place and we realize it. But one of the hardest things about infertility is there is a shame associated with it.
Mm.
When you start to come to this place where you're like, oh, my basic biologic function isn't working, and you start to think less of yourself as a person, as a woman, as a man, as a, anybody who wants to have children should be allowed to have children and should be able to build their family the way they want to without judgment or fear of repercussion or any of that. But there's so much out there and there's so much stigmatism. And because it's directly linked to intimacy, for a lot of hetero couples, this is a really hard thing because people don't really want to talk about their own personal infertility struggles. It's also, and here's the thing that I get all the time from the people who come to my support group, people say the wrong thing. People who love you the most are often the ones that say things that
Like,
really slash your heart. Well, I'll give you an example.
yes, please.
Like, children shouldn't define you. I got that one.
Wow.
And from a very dear person to me, I had just had my third miscarriage after I'd had an ectopic pregnancy with emergency surgery, then went on to have my third miscarriage, 3 miscarriages. 2 of them I had to have D&Cs for, which was really traumatizing. Then after I lost my mother, my husband and I decided to try IVF. We paid $20,000 out of pocket. We had 4 abnormal embryos. So we couldn't go any further with that. Then I had another ectopic pregnancy right before we closed on our house, and I lost my right fallopian tube. So my son, who's 5, is a real miracle.
Wow.
Yeah, he
Goodness.
said, oh, all right, I'm sticking around. But the thing
Yeah.
is that people don't realize that when they're trying to help you, especially the people who love you the most, they say something to you thinking like, I don't know what to say, so I'll just say this.
Mm-hmm.
And in
They're
the
yeah.
well-intentioned, yeah.
Well-meaning, but more mean than well, is how I put it.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard. So the people who come to my group feel very isolated and alone because they're just not getting that really sucks. And I have no idea what to say, but I'm going to hold your hand.
So that is the solution. Yeah. So
it happens so often,
mm,
and that happens across the board in life, a lot of things that happen to
right.
us. Other people don't know how to respond and they don't
Yeah.
know what to say.
Yes. And so if you've just tuned in, you're listening to my wonderful guest today, and it's her birthday. Yarona is a coach and an expert in infertility, parenting, and loss. And so when you say in your bio that you know loss, now I understand fully. That's goodness gracious. I'm so sorry that you went through that. But I love the fact, and you're my favorite kind of guest, people who go through pain and hardship and then take that and turn it into a way to help others who are experiencing that same feeling. So for that, this is a little early in the show, but I want to do it now because I don't want to forget. I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's beneficial presence on the planet award for the work that you do. Thank you
so much. Thank you. I
because
really appreciate that.
now I understand the heart-centered. You do know what it's like to go through infertility. You do know what it's like to go through miscarriages. You do know what it's like to not be able to fulfill that huge aspect of life. Because I know from my experience that parenting is a gift. Having children is a gift that not everyone can just go out and buy that package.
It's true. It's true. I say it a lot to people who come to my group and they say, somebody said to me, why don't you just adopt? And I said, oh, because it's so easy to walk down to the corner store and pick up a kid, And people don't really get the whole, or why don't you just go through IVF or, infertility treatment? That'll solve it. I had that misconception too. I thought, and in fact, my doctor, there was a little bit of over expectation because and people don't know the difficulty of the 5 a.m. blood work that you go to every single day for months, the injections, like I was up to 4 injections a night and hopping around all over because it was burning. And like just the actual trials and tribulations of infertility struggles. It's not just a feeling, it's a doing, and you're stuck and you're mired in it. And there's a trauma that builds up from it too. I ran out of a Target once because my basket was completely full, but every time I was turning a corner, I saw another pregnant person, another mom with young kids, and I couldn't take it anymore. I left my cart, ran out the door, ran to my car and started bawling, And these are the things that people don't want to share with others because they often get told, well, you'll just keep trying, just have faith. When it's meant to happen, it'll happen. And all these things that are meant to be cheerleader, but end up coming off with a level of toxic positivity that is unrealistic. I fully recognize that I had a miracle. I had a miracle. I mean, I kid you not, we went out and bought a painting for my birthday in 2016, a Thomas Kinkade, because I said to my husband, I don't think we're having kids. And I want to be able to move forward with my life. And this is something I've always wanted. Then I got pregnant with my son in January of 2017. So apparently 2 things happened. My parents were up in heaven saying to God, seriously, do you think she's been through enough already? And my son said, and God said, haha, look, she did it. She bought something else. She's moving on. So
here's the reward. Yeah. So, and it was not through IVF because that didn't work. It was just naturally.
With 1 tube, and I was 41 years old.
Wow. So yes, you do believe in miracles, and I'm sure that well, congratulations. And that's so beautiful. Yeah.
And I love my community because it's a very non-judgmental space, and it's a very understanding that not all avenues of parenting or of options to get to plan your family are going to be for everybody. And that's okay.
Okay. So first of all, welcome to my Instagram streamers who you really can't access the chat. So please go to my YouTube channel because I'm going to shut you down in a minute, but you're enjoying my very special guest today on her birthday, Yarona Boster, who is talking about infertility and loss, which is a great topic that I don't normally cover. So I'm glad. And the solution that we're hearing here, and I have to admit that I'm one of those people that is constantly focused on the upside. And so I inadvertently will say stupid shiitake, why don't you look at adoption, or adoption is okay. And especially in our culture, Chinese culture, there's this bias against adopting for some stupid reason. But I think I have been insensitive and well-meaning, more mean than well, in my comments. So the solution here is, if you know someone who has gone through infertility challenges or miscarriages, the worst thing you can do is, try to be their cheerleader. And I think that the first line of support is, that sucks, right? That sucks. I'm sorry. I'm here for you, whatever you need. And I think that's that is a universal good thing to say when anyone is suffering anything, because the attempt to go positive too early is, I think, a unintentional error that we make as human beings. And I learned that firsthand when I was in the library at the Salon Beach shootings back in 2011, I believe, or I can't remember anymore, but 11. And it was, people, grief counselors had a piece of paper to tell them what to say on the bright side. And I was like, you just a hug and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So that is.
And what do you need from me? How could I, what could I do for you, if anything?
For sure. All right. So now, we have a happy ending to your story. If you are going through infertility challenges, if you know someone close to you, what are some resources, Yarona, that you can point people to?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the number one, which is Resolve, the National Infertility Association. It's a non-for-profit organization. They have been around for quite a while, and they have been dedicated, and they have so many resources on their page itself, resolve.org. They have so many resources right there. They also give you the FAQs, the ins and outs, the questions, the where to go, how do I deal with this, what do I do next, where do I go for support. They are amazing. And my current infertility program, infertility support group, I run it virtually. So anybody is welcome to join. You don't have to live in New Jersey to join. I am happy to. And I'm right there on the page as well. And that I run for free, and I do it completely with my heart. I love my community. I will always be there for them. Whatever they need. I kind of tell them, listen, you are welcome to be here. I'm not happy you're here. And frankly, I'd like for you to be able to kick you out fast,
Yeah.
But I fully understand that it's necessary. Yes, Resolve. It's a beautiful.
Okay, I just pulled that up so that you can access that, resolve.org. If you know anyone who is going through temporary infertility challenges, here's one solution for sure: access to care, advocacy, community support, education, and awareness. So that's wonderful. And this is a great resource. So you're not alone if that's what you're going through. Reach out. And if you're in the New Jersey area, you have a personal docent to the organization. Beautiful. All right. We're going to take a quick break and be right back. As we do station ID, you are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marssa, the morning show, here with special guest Yarona Boster, who is giving us great information on infertility, dealing with loss, and we'll come back and talk about parenting here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. If conforming to the world was exploring the world? What if the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, little girl, turns into how many streets of life do you want to explore? What if the purpose of life is not to die with the most toys to leave our squabbling relatives? What if the purpose of life was to do things that we enjoy most of the time have relationships that we enjoy most of the time, and use our unique talents, gifts, and abilities to fully express in the dash between birth and death. What if, as a direct result of this horrible pandemic, we could rise out of the ashes with a new PPP, post-pandemic possibilities? The sooner you turn "it's impossible" to "I'm possible," the what ifs become possible too. Because you are loving, lovable, and loved, wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness. But it may start with getting out of bed and making it. What if starts with
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marssa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marssa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel, where I see some eyeballs rolling right now. So glad you're here. Thank you for your comments. And you can also, if you free subscribe there, get an alert every morning. Every weekday at 8 a.m. Thank you for making me the number one show in the IE, on the number one talk station in the IE, and number two Bill Handle in Southern California. And we're so delighted this morning. And on my Red Carpet playlist, thank you for all of the recent messages thanking me for my little soundbite with Jimmy Fallon, who, when he heard I was the Asian Oprah, said, "And that means I'm the Puerto Rican Jerry Lewis," which was super funny. And also just wanted to give a quick shout out. I get to have Lucy Arnez, the beautiful daughter of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. She's coming on next week, as well as my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, who is the founder of Agape International Spiritual Center, celebrating 36 years this month. Let me give us a little applause. Where is it? There it is. And then Mark and Brian fans from KLOS. Mark's coming on in December. So lots of great shows for you. Tomorrow is my co-host Colette Tracy is coming back, and we're going to talk about holiday stress for women who do too much. So lots here for you. But today, I am so delighted. She decided to come on her birthday, which is so wonderful. And I am learning so much. We just learned about fertility. If you missed the first half of the show, please do get the redo, and you can watch and listen on my YouTube channel. And we're going to talk about parenting. And thank you, Lisa Wagner, for I have to run, but amazing show. I love your appreciation. So thank you, Lisa, for that nice comment. And you can do the same as you're listening. Would love to have questions and comments as I have Yarona, the expert, here today. All right, parenting. You ready?
Yes, absolutely. And I would love to start off by telling you a little story.
Yes, please.
So The other day, I was taking my son to school, and we were walking along, and there's other parents there, and they're all walking their kids along. And I'm watching my son. I'm just smiling at him. He's kicking along the leaves. It's fall in New Jersey, so all the leaves are falling. And I hear a little child behind me, and the child is calling out to a friend, and he's saying, "Mommy, mommy, there's so and so," his friend's name. And the mom says, "I don't care." And I kind of was like, "Ooh, ow." And and then the child said again, "Oh, but there's so and so." And she says to him, "I don't care. I don't care about that. It's my responsibility to get you into school safely. Come on, we're late. Let's go, let's go, let's go." And she hustles him past me and I saw her face as she walked past, and she looked so stressed. And so just like, I am at my rope's end here. And I looked at my son and we got him in. And I thought about that for the rest of the day. And I was like, I feel horrible. I felt horrible, though, for not just him. I felt horrible for her because I realized that she must have had a lot going on. She must have been so stressed out. She just, that was her response to a situation in which she was just like, "Come on, I'm really focused on just getting you into school. I got to go. I got things to do, et cetera, et cetera, And in that moment, I decided, I said to myself, well, I'm not judging her. I'm going to turn my judgment into empathy. And because here's the thing, we all make mistakes with our kids. I am not a parenting expert who's going to tell you this is the perfect parenting solution. There is no such thing. And the first thing you learn is that you're going to make mistakes, except you will make mistakes. They are inevitable. But mistakes are your opportunities to learn.
I call them missed takes.
Yeah. Mistakes. Today's teacher is yesterday's mistake. So you get to learn from it, and that's how you move forward with your kids too. I had a similar situation that happened to me. Not quite. I didn't say those words to my son, but last year when he was 4, I was taking him to school, and it was a snow day. So the snow delayed school's opening. My whole day got thrown off entirely. I was stressed. I was feeling it. We get to school. What does a 4-year-old want to do when they see snow? He's like, "I'm going to play in it." I'm like, "Come on, Connor, we got to go. We got to go. We got to go." And he stumbled and he kind of like went on his knees in the snow. And I'm like, "Okay, brush it off. We got to go. We got to go. We're going to be late, And we rushed in. All day I sat with that and I was like, "Oh, I feel horrible." So when I went to pick him up, I said to him, "Connor, I have to say something to you. I am so sorry for this morning. I was rushing to get you into school and I didn't recognize that you just wanted to play with the snow. And I should have said to you, you know what, Connor, I know you want to play in the snow. When we get home from school today, we will play in the snow, but now is not the time for that. Now is the time to get to school." And so I apologized to him. And here's my little kid in the back seat. He goes, "Mommy, I accept your apology."
Beautiful.
And I was like, "Okay, all right, good." Here's the problem as parents. We often forget that we have to humanize our mistakes humanize ourselves to our kids. And the way that we do that is by acknowledging the mistakes we make as people. If you can start with that and also start acknowledging the things you don't want to do. And this is kind of true of life in general. But when you think about it, we often start to see the things we don't want to do or the people we don't want to be first. I don't want to be my parents. My parents were so authoritarian. They were horrible parents. They were really like, "You do what I do. You say what you do what I do. You do what I say you do. And that's that, because I'm your mom and I told you so." And then we did do a dynamic shift to what we call permissive parenting style, because parents started to say, "Well, I don't want to be my parent. I don't want to do that to my kid. I want my kid to be happy. I don't want to make my kid afraid of me." And we became overly permissive, and we started to create this world of this dynamic shift from between authoritarian and permissive parenting. And we have to find this balanced place of conscious parenting. And the biggest first step we can take with that is acknowledging what we don't want to do, what we don't want to be, and then giving ourselves permission to take a moment for ourselves before we step forward into consciously responding to our children. My son has tantrums. He's got meltdowns. I make mistakes. My husband makes mistakes. We acknowledge that all the time, and we're constantly trying to figure out how we can do better. And one of those things is in talking to our son, is in helping him become the best version of who he can be, recognizing we don't own him. He's his own individual human being. We are humans raising another human. We forget that a lot. We say we separate children and adults. We separate children and parents, children, adolescents, young adults, adults, elderly. We separate out when the truth is we're all a part of the human experience, right? If we can place ourselves in that, we can start to do better. And I actually came up with this thought process on what I call foundational losses. It's a part of my TED Talk. And what I had noticed in the world of early childhood was this permissive parenting drive. And especially with parents of children with developmental delays and disabilities, there's a level of guilt that happens there, that they're kind of like, well, I want my kid to be able to do whatever they can do. And so I'm just going to let them, and I'm not going to create boundaries for them because that's not a good thing. I'm not going to say no to them because no is bad. When the truth is that boundaries are a natural part of life's process. Think about it like this. One day I went to a meeting for a child who was coming into our program, and all our meetings were in homes. And we walked in, and the 2-year-old was climbing the drapes. Yeah, he was literally climbing the drapes. And I turned to the mom and I was like, well, are you okay with this? And she said, well, what can I do? I don't want to restrict him. I don't want to make him feel, like I want him to feel like the sky's the limit. So I was like, okay. I understand. So when he's old enough, in your opinion, to go skydiving, would you be okay with that? And she looked at me and she's like, well, yeah, of course. Why not? I said, all right. Would you be okay if he wanted to go skydiving without a parachute? And the reason I said that to her, she looked at me like I was crazy, but I said, because there are natural boundaries and limitations in life. You cannot go skydiving without a parachute unless you want that to be the last thing you do. You can't cross the street, get hit by a car, and just keep on walking. Life has natural boundaries and limitations. And as we get older, we start to realize there are societal boundaries and limitations, rules we have to live by, and there are personal and interpersonal boundaries and rules that we have to live by. Our job as parents is to teach our kids those things so that they become functional in this society, so they can function with the understanding that there are boundaries. I can still reach for the sky, but I have to put my parachute on, right?
Right.
And I think that that's a really big thing. And so I started to develop this thought process of foundational losses. And I explained to parents, they're like this. When a child is young, the losses are small. A toy breaks, a toddler's toy breaks. So they lose that toy. That's a little loss. A child gets a bad grade, even though they studied hard. They don't get into the after-school program they wanted. They lose a relationship. They lose a job. They don't get into the college they wanted. They lose a home. But inevitably, we all have one major loss, at least one, if not many, the loss of a loved one. And it is inevitable that we will experience that, right? So how do we prepare our children for these losses? We don't prepare the road for our child. We prepare the child for the road, because we don't know what bumps are going to come and what pitfalls and what potholes they're going to hit along the way, especially once we're gone. So me as a parent, the thing I want the most, I want to know my child will be okay without me when I'm gone.
It's an interesting way to look at it. Let me back up a little bit,
Yeah.
and just comment on parenting as far as, you don't go to school for parenting. You learn parenting from your parents. And I think, the fact that 7 out of 10 of us have had childhood trauma, that speaks to the fact that our parents probably were not the best role models for parenting, and we don't go to school for it. There's no degree in it. Until recently, you can actually go seek out some parenting courses. But my whole thing, and tied into your give yourself a break and everybody makes mistakes, is our only job is to do better than what we were given, or our parents did. And we're not going to be perfect, but we want to do better. So from what didn't go well, what to do differently. But then to go to that other extreme, as you were talking about the curtain crawler, that is also not useful, because a child does need to know limits. Otherwise, they will get hit by a car. So balance is my model, balanced parenting. And how do we instill that? So we're definitely on the same page with that. And I love the way you said prepare. You can't teach the road because you don't know what road, but you can prepare the child for how to deal with losses, or anger, or disappointment, or frustration. That there are useful ways. I try to move away from right and wrong these days. There's useful ways and there's less than useful ways. So give me some tools
Sure.
for speaking to your kids. So let's tie it in with loss. A child loses their grandparent. A child loses their friend. All the gun violence that's going on in the horrific things that are going on in the schools. What do you say to a child that will help them understand loss in a way that is sensitive but not debilitating?
It's okay to not be okay. One of the most important things, that's probably going to be the title of my next TED Talk, by the way. One of the most important things that any parent can do is start with empathy. So if you ever learned about, there's a thing called the self-determination theory. Dici and Ryan came up with this. There are 3 core needs of every human being. There is connection, competency, and control or autonomy. If we can find a way to meet those 3 needs for our kids, we can develop a better, healthier child. We can help that child grow into a healthy person. So connection is obviously that need for socialization. It starts when a baby's little, they need to connect with their parents. Competency is the ability to do things for yourself, right? So when we talk about early childhood development, there's a core area of development that a lot of parents skip out on. It's called the self-help adaptive skill. And it is a developmental area that is really important. Your child needs to be able to do for themselves. It starts with the little things like getting themselves dressed. Now, they're not going to immediately know how to do it just because you've done it for them this whole time. A lot of parents wake up when their kid is 18 and they're like, now go do for yourself. Well, if you've been doing it for your kid this entire time, guess what? They're not going to
They
be
don't know
able
how
to.
to do it.
No,
Mhm.
no. So when they
Enabled.
say I can't, this is something really important for every parent to hear. When a child says, I can't, there are 3 things behind it. They don't have the knowledge, they don't have the skill, meaning the ability to put the knowledge into practice, or they don't want to. A lot of
Will.
times the I don't want to is because you've been doing it for them this whole time and they've gotten used to that. But a lot of kids come from this place of, I don't know how to do that. Teach them how to do it and help them practice it. That's all parenting is too. Practice, practice, practice. So if you can help meet those needs, you've got it. So you start with those strategies. You start with empathy. You start with acknowledging your child's emotions. That is so important. So important. Don't invalidate their emotions. Don't say, oh, calm down. Saying calm down, telling a child who's emotionally upset, like, oh, it's fine, just smile, feel happy, oh, that's nothing. Don't feel so bad about that. That's nothing.
Mhm.
You
If you think
invalidate
this
their
is bad, if you
Yeah.
think this is bad, I did blah, blah, blah.
Don't invalidate their emotions because emotions are big in kids. And if you think about the way the brain develops, emotions are not regulated when they're little. They only become fully regulated and the frontal lobe fully develops when you're in your mid to late 20s. That's
Mm,
crazy. Your critical thinking,
mhm,
your self control, your impulse control, all of those things are not fully developed until your 20s. So if
mhm.
you think your kid is going to get it after one try, you're setting yourself and your child up for failure. So
Yeah,
but
yeah.
start with empathy, start with understanding. I see you're hurting. I see this is very frustrating to you, and describe what it is that's frustrating to them. They want empathy and validation. You will see the tantrum go from this huge thing down to like, okay. And then help them move forward. Give them a distraction, give them a redirection. That's so important.
Hmm.
And
And
yeah, start from
great,
there.
great. Can you believe we're at the
I
almost
can't.
end of the hour?
I
I knew
can't.
that was going to happen, and I don't want to leave without having people be able to find you. So,
Absolutely.
what's the best way to contact you, to get more information, to have you coach them? You're a certified coach in many areas. So, how do people find you?
They can go to my website. That is the best way to reach me. It's footprintscoaching.org. That is the best way to reach me because there's just a contact link and you can contact me directly through that. You can also find me on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me. I'm not really a big social media person. I like the interpersonal connections, so I don't have a big social media presence. So that's why I say just go directly to my website because that'll be the easiest way.
Footprintscoaching.org.
Yep.
Footprints with an S.
Yes.
Okay,
Footprints with an
so
S.
there we go. See if this works.
Yep.
Is that right?
That should be correct. Yep.
Great, great.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, and uh, I really like the empathy. I think, and that takes time. And we're in such an instant place. And I'm not bashing. I was a full-time single working mom, so I understand that. But it is a responsibility. I think that if we are having children, if we're fortunate enough to have children, the guidance, not from a place of I know better than you, but a couple things struck me when you were talking. The empathy is so important. The time. I don't have patience. I don't even have that word in my vocabulary. But the space. I'll say the space to be able to have those conversations instead of just get off of your tablet or get off of your and do this and do that, but just that real true connection that
Yes.
happens only with time. It does take time. I think that we've kind of we've
Yeah.
short shifted ourselves. We think as women, especially recovering overachieving women who think that we can do everything. No wonder they're so stressed that they say, I don't care when the child says,
Yeah.
hey, mom, you know.
Yeah.
But I do like the time and the place. I'll just throw in my 8 cents. One thing that I did with my beautiful daughters who are 23 and 25, now just graduates from Cornell and UC Davis, so off in their jobs and living together in San Francisco. One thing that they will credit their balance is when they were in preschool, I would, on the way to school, have them say, what are 3 things that you're grateful for?
Ah,
And that in the car was so important. And then when they were in middle school, we added appreciations. What do you appreciate about yourself, your mom, and your sister? And all the kids we picked up on the way to school knew that that was part of the discipline practice. So I'll just throw that out there for balanced parenting. Your son is now old enough to do that. Thank you
yes.
so much. Final word?
Mhm.
Final word, Yorona? Oh, actually, I can't give you a final word. We're
Oh,
up.
that's
I'm
okay.
sorry. But
That's
you
okay.
did footprints, coaching.org. Thank you so much, Arona. It's
Thank
all about
you.
balance, folks. Peace in, peace out, world. Peace through inner peace Thanks for tuning in today. Hope you learned something. Love to hear your messages on Yarona Boster. Happy birthday, darling.
Thank
Have
you.
the best
Thank you.
day ever. We'll see you tomorrow with Colette
All right.
Tracy and Real Women Talk.
Bye.
Bye. Sam.